Speak and pause. Okay. Hey, Wentz. Good, how are you? Having trouble getting in? Yeah, let me see. I thought there was a way that, you want me just to send it to that big Wentz email? I thought there's a way. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll get it right off to you. I'll call you if there's any issue, but I should send it right. There we go. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're welcome, bye. Copy. Huh. Come on. Admit. Hey, Mayor, how you doing?
Good, Sean, and you?
Good.
Good.
All right, everybody's rolling in here.
Okay.
Nice out today. Hey, Andy.
Hey, good morning.
It's a warm morning.
Morning, Mayor.
Morning. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad. Hanging in there.
Mute myself. Here comes Mary.
Russo,
Really?
maybe.
Hey, Mary.
Hi.
Morning, Mary.
Hi.
Well, you look really bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, you're on mute, Mary. I can hear you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Another year with limited fanfare
Oh, I know it.
next year.
Next year, you better believe it.
Ah, da, da, da.
Oh. Hey, Mayor, how's the Hamburg Moves Committee doing?
I don't really know. The last I knew that the Recreation Department, Josh Hake, was actually meeting with the people and hoping to get the thing moving along and keep things on the up and up. That was the last that I heard on it, and that was about 3 weeks ago. So he's picked the ball up and he's running with it to make sure that it doesn't die by any means. So that was a good committee.
Good to hear.
Does Blaisdell have their elections today?
They had them yesterday, I believe.
What's that?
Yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know if the results are in, but they had them yesterday.
Okay.
And so that's why we were kind of put out there just in terms of the reconfigure of the courtroom there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, they extended the governor, you can meet virtually still, but I'm anticipating, April, we'll start booking meetings. And then if this is available through the governor, we'll still have the Zoom, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to getting back the personal meetings. I think it's the consensus among a lot of groups that I'm involved with when we're starting to meet in person again.
Hey,
Good morning,
Jennifer.
everyone. Good morning.
Morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. How is everyone today?
Good. Good.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, same to you.
Thank you.
Same to you. Same to you, Mr.
Hey, Bob.
Hudson.
Morning, Bob. How are you? Huh.
Bob, can you hear us? He looks confused. Palmer, Moses, Hutchison. Okay. Bob, come around yet?
There you go.
You hear me, Bob?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay.
Morning, Bob.
Hey, how you doing? How you
Good.
been?
Great. How about yourself?
Very well, thanks.
Hi,
Wait
Janet.
for the weather to break.
Good morning.
Morning, Janet.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Morning.
I am well. Mayor, did you see that Hub did not win?
No, I didn't see that. In fact, I was just asking, what the results were.
Hub didn't win his reelection. My incumbent trustee won, and then a new young gentleman, John Bushin, who's
UAW.
lived in the village. Yeah,
He's a UAW guy.
UAW guy from the Ford plant.
Okay,
Nice kid, nice
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, he's
We're
good. He's an
fortunate.
apprentice.
We had, you know what? We had 3 good candidates for 2 spots.
well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Cam.
Morning.
Give it another minute.
Hey, Wentz.
Well, Norma's connected. Oh, there's Wentz. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. And-
Morning, Norma.
Good morning. How
Morning,
you doing,
Wes.
Andy?
How you doing?
Okay, everyone's here, so we'll get rolling. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. It's a
Thank you.
Same to you.
nice spring day out there. Let's see here. We'll start with roll call for our March 17th, 2021 meeting. Cameron Hall.
Here.
Bob Hutchison.
Here.
Janet McGregor-Plar.
Here.
Tom Moses.
Here,
Andy Palmer.
Here.
Davis Pekulski.
Here.
Bob Reynolds.
Here.
Norma Russer Kelly.
Here.
And Wentz Valentin.
Here.
Thank you. Full board. And next we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance. Let's try to get to my screen.
Should we stand?
Sure, if you're able to. Can anyone see the flag on my screen?
I'll stand.
I'm
We'll
standing.
see. You gotta do it.
I pledge allegiance. This isn't our first go around with this. To the flag
Of the
of the
United
United
States.
States of America.
America.
And to the
And to
republic,
the republic
For which
For which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty
and
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 justice.
justice for all.
for all.
Thank you. Hopefully, this will be at least one of our full last Zoom meetings. And get back to sharing our agenda here. There it comes up.
There's the flag.
Yeah, there it comes up now.
Oh, looks
Better late
nice.
than never. All right, a motion to open the Board of Directors meeting at 7:32 a.m.
I'll
So
make a
moved.
motion.
Thank
second,
you, Norma. Thank you. Mayor, was that?
yes.
who's Janet? Oh, both of us.
Thank
The
you.
mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? Okay, next, first item on our agenda are the meeting minutes from the February 16th, 2021 Board of Directors meeting.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
I'll second that, Cam.
Cam, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes carried. Next up is the financial report from February 28th, 2021.
Good morning, everybody. It's the reports are with our board package, but I just want to point out a few things like always. We had 6,200 in administrative fees for income this month in February. I'm talking about February now. We had other expenses out there under IT. We did 225 an expense, and we also had supply expenses of 230, which total office expenses of 455. And that public hearing was about $674. that we had to put on for the public hearing. So we took in over 6,000, but we ended up with a deficit of 4,300 approximately. So our total cash income at the end of liabilities and equity forward is $629,457.78. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thank
Second.
you. Who is the second? Thank you, Bob Hutchison. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Reynolds. For my report, just following up on the financial report, we do have a draft audit report in. Mary's been working very hard the last month on the annual Paris report, which is the report that gets issued for the IDA and the Land Corp to the state authority budget office. So the audit is a little bit slow coming in, so we have the draft that we'll be able to input, and then looking forward into our April meeting as we renew these committees. We'll have a review by the Audit Committee, and then put the audit report in front of the full board. But the materials are in, and the data should be back with us probably, if not by the end of this week, early next week, the actual fully reviewed audit. We are carrying some project closings. Jennifer had put out some updates yesterday, and Jennifer, I will jump on these businesses this week as well. I've been working with Mary with the audit, so now I'll follow up on these project closings. But we do have open projects for the E1 expansion, 290 Lake Street in the village of Hamburg, KH Industries, which acquired the old Evans Bank administrative office. And now we're also carrying Bayview Road Associates as well with those projects. So those are the projects that have been approved, but not fully closed yet through the leaseback process. Some good news, more good news. The local economy here continues to seemingly pick up. Definitely from a year ago, I'm carrying more project potential and more activity than there has been a year ago. And I had submitted that in the director report. I'm working with an expanding manufacturer on Jeffrey Boulevard. There is a company I'm meeting with, a site selector next week for that Norfolk Southern site. That site has been essentially idle on Jeffrey Boulevard really since I started. And I've been working with Norfolk Southern, their real estate department, and also the town to try to get that site back into productivity. So it's been a slow process. It seems like just the process of the railroad companies moves very slow. But at this point, it's under contract, and actually a local company is looking to purchase it. So I'm meeting their real estate representative next Tuesday to do a walkthrough and to see how we can participate to boost that project. In addition to that, there's a company that's looking to build a distribution warehouse facility for air purification equipment, which has been experienced some significant growth through COVID. It's still carrying Key Energy in Blaisdell. I've had a couple of conversations, Janet. I know they've had to come back for some municipal approvals. So that is moving forward as well. Another distributor who is seeking warehouse space, their lease is terming out. So I'm working with them to find some suitable land where this owner who currently rents would own and build and own and occupy their building. Later in April, early April, I'm going to be meeting with some developer representatives for the corner of South Park and Souls. So that area, the old convent site, seems to be, it had some momentum, and then it had fits and starts. So it had stopped, and now they have kind of reformatted the design development. So we're going to be meeting with them in the next couple of weeks. And last on the list is Carwell, which I spoke to representatives of Carwell yesterday, and they're going through their architecturals right now. So they're also in design development. But I would anticipate that construction, Carwell is located essentially in front of FedEx, would be roughly north of the Woodlawn Credit Union in the Lake Erie Commerce Center there. So they should be going into construction probably this summer. So definitely a lot more activity than we were carrying the same time last year. Some other items, if you have not, or if you could also circulate the town comprehensive plan survey. This is kind of the last push for that town comprehensive plan survey before they close that out. Pitch Hamburg, we're working with our accountants, those same ones that do the IDA and the LDC for the annual filings for that. We're working to open up a bank account and really start with the fundraising of that startup incubator group. And we're working with a program, a software platform, which is made by some local developers called openofficetime.com. So the Pitch Hamburg board members will essentially offer time and resources in a virtual capacity out of the gate. So just so that the program can start to build some momentum and really start. Our goal through Pitch Hamburg, as we've outlined in the next year, is to support 3 new businesses in the town of Hamburg. So we've really begun to organize our mission and vision and outline some goals here. And, now we're working towards that goal, which is those 3 new businesses. If anyone's interested on the IDA or the Land Corp board in joining a meeting and just becoming a little bit more familiar with Pitch Hamburg, as you would have time, please don't hesitate to reach out. We meet, typically we meet every other Wednesday. And so we meet quite often just in terms of the program development, but it's really starting to gather some good momentum. It's really becoming more of a reality than an idea at this phase, which is exciting. And then we've reconvened with our local IDA leadership group as the state now is, starting to get back into normal operations in terms of the state legislature. And we are in the middle of the state budget negotiations. So we need to stay involved and engaged with that. And this is a question that I had in terms of legislation for people who have been, engaged with advocating in Albany in a way, shape, or form. Are there standard lobbying days? One thing I can't become familiar with is some type of calendar where it may make sense where the local IDA members here in Erie County would make visits to the area representatives, not only in our specific districts, but, as a whole for the Western New York, delegation.
It's usually on Tuesdays are lobby days up in Albany.
Yeah.
So is there in session, it would be essentially, you'd head out there on a Tuesday. And do you typically pre-arrange meetings? I know when I've met with Kennedy, I will give a heads up and say I'm coming out and try to arrange a time slot. Is that typically how you do it?
Yeah, because Tuesdays they're usually jam-packed. So you got to have a meeting ahead of time.
Okay. Bob or Janet, I know you would take a part in a lot of those activities. Any other words of advice to try to get a little bit? I just want to make sure that we have the supports that we need in lieu of the, Calabrese representation, I guess you would say, that we had in the past.
Tuesdays are important in Albany when they're in session, but also setting up local visits to their local office throughout other times of the year. And not to be afraid to, on occasion, maybe drop a newsletter or board minutes or the executive director's report of what's happening in Hamburg to our local representation. Not just our immediate representation, but the Western New York delegation.
I think that's a great idea. I didn't think of that, offering in somewhat of an update to them in a written fashion. No, that's a great. Thank you.
I remember if we went down in a group, they'd usually spread out to different, representatives across the state. So if you went down with 4 or 5 people, instead of everybody going to one, they spread out to a multitude of representatives.
Yeah, and that would be my intent, to at least cover, at least Western New York, but to go as a group with the local IDAs, and then certainly connect with, because there are a number of smaller IDAs in the Albany area, downstate. So I know it's important to pay attention to this, and I think there is that. If we go down in a coordinated effort, I think it will be more impactful than Sean Doyle driving out and doing this. And we can certainly dovetail it with the state EDC meetings as well.
And Sean, and if you do have a group going down, what you want to have is you want to have a common message. You want to have talking points so that the same things are said to all the elected officials, and not to debate issues, because as we know, with perhaps our own state, whatever he is these days, senator, he's not a fan of IDAs. So we're not there to debate. We're there to just offer some information and perhaps ask for some assistance.
I agree. Yeah, no, and I really like the idea that, there's a lot going on here. So, and I think it gets under communicated from time to time. Some of these smaller projects and these other, activities that we have to try to boost employment and tax value in the area that largely fall under the radar.
There's one other thing too, Sean, for the next month, they're really tied up in the budget. So if you're going to do it, you might want to do something in May when they're away from the budget season, or some specific piece of legislation they're going after that you see coming up against us, or Jennifer. Then we can try to make an appointment that way too. But right now they're so tied up in the budget process, unless it's budget related, that's what everybody's down there for right now, is get the piece of the pie.
Makes sense. All right. That concludes my report. The only other item, I'm just looking through to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Can I ask a question on Carville?
Yes.
That development they're doing, do they go through the planning board to make sure that the road doesn't come out on Route 5 from that plan?
No, that it's in the pre-permitted zone, so they will go through the pre-permitted process, which is essentially a meeting with planning, the IDA, and engineering. Right now, as that pre-permitted plan is laid out, Bob, they cannot have break-in access off of Route 5. That's outlined with the state DOT requirements. So that's not going to happen. Last I had communication with them, they were looking for 2 drives on Lake Erie Boulevard. So, that wasn't the intent, and that would be a battle
because
to do that.
I don't know what the board got in feedback, but that was what a lot of the feedback that I got was all this traffic coming down to that traffic light from Amazon and everything else. I'm assuming Bayview, where by the credit union, is you'll be able to make a right there from Amazon maybe, but most of the traffic is supposed to go down to the to the light, I would assume.
You're correct. Yeah.
Okay.
The intent, and one of the options as the traffic study was completed for the pre-permitted designation, there was talk of potential of dead ending Bayview at the railroad track. So really even limiting that travel over the track. So basically from that would be the east side traffic coming in. So essentially, Bayview would be like a right turn only out of the industrial park, and that would be it. But they haven't taken that action yet.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what the inclination is, or even what the feedback from the community would be if people use that in their daily commute. Okay, that concludes my report. Thank you. The next item that we have are the annual committee assignments. So just to get back on track, I did establish motions to run the term through January of 2022. So, you know, we've had a lot of, with the Amazon and the Bayview project, this got put off. So I wanted to get it back on track, but I figured it makes sense, especially since we're largely continuing the committee assignments. We'll have this back up for the IGA in ideally in January of next year. So the first motion is for executive committee. This is to elect the executive committee members: Andrew Palmer, chair; Bob Hutchison, vice chair; Cam Hall, secretary; Bob Reynolds, treasurer, for a term ending January 19th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Wentz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, motion to elect audit committee members: Andrew Palmer, Davis Pokulski, Robert Reynolds, to the committee for a term ending January 19th, 2022.
I'll make a motion.
Thank
Second.
you, Norma. Thank you, Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, motion to elect governance committee members: Hall, Cameron Hall, Bob Hutchison, Davis Pokulski, to a term ending January 19th, 2022.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
Second.
Thank you, Janet. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, elect finance committee members: Andy Palmer, Robert Reynolds, to the committee for a term ending January 19th, 2022.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Norma.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item, excuse me. Be it resolved that the Hamburg Industrial Development Agency Board designate the Hamburg Sun and the Buffalo News as the official newspapers for the Hamburg Industrial Development Agency for the year 2021.
So moved.
Thank you, Janet.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is just a reminder. I don't know if Mary sent it out yet, but she will send it out soon for the annual sexual harassment training. You do need not to complete the one that we provide. If you have a program that you complete through your employer, you're welcome to do that, but it is required. And along those lines, I'd like to thank everyone for their timely submission of the annual board surveys. That was very helpful. And it also is a requirement for the authority budget office. So I appreciate your help in getting that taken care of.
Is that the one we do online?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's a web,
Okay.
it's like a YouTube link
Yeah.
that if she hasn't sent out yet, she'll send it out again. But again, if there's other channels where you get it complete, another board or your employer, you can just send us that. There's no need to take a second one.
I forget, Sean, do we just attest that we took it through our employer, or do we need some sort of evidence?
I don't know, typically the employer do you get like a certificate through your
Each employer should issue a certificate of attendance.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like an online thing that I do through my work. I'm sure they email a confirmation. I'm sure in there is a, okay, that's fine. I think that's fair.
Okay, next item is Sharma redevelopment or Sharma development. Sharma is simply doing a cash out refinance. The owners of the project are not taking any new money out of the project. They're simply taking, best we can understand through the talks with their attorney and bank, they're taking advantage of the lower interest rates going on now. So they're compliant with the project. But we're looking now for a resolution. The Town of Hamburg IDA authorizing the execution and delivery of a mortgage modification, assignment of rent, security agreement, and fixture filing in a principal amount not to exceed $3,746,366, and an assignment of rents and leases, other ancillary documents required in connection with the refinancing of 2015 Sharma Development LLC project. Essentially, what you're doing is looking to give me consent to sign the appropriate documents, execute, deliver any papers, instruments, opinions, certificates, affidavits, or other documents necessary for proper carrying out of this resolution.
Question.
Move.
Question.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead, Andy. You're president. Go ahead, Andy.
yeah. You need a motion for that, Sean?
We could get a motion and
Yeah.
then,
I make the motion.
thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Norma. And then on the question, Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah. Financially, I know we put some work into this. Is there additional administrative fees that they have to pay for all this? Like Jennifer's doing work and stuff like that. Is that list? I didn't see that listed in here.
Correct. That's in the IDA fee schedule. So they have to
Okay.
pay my legal fees as well as the fee to the agency.
Okay, so there is additional, because they're doing this, we're going to get additional fees coming in
Well, I
on all
think
this work.
it's $500, so not a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but we got coverage then of what we're
Absolutely.
doing. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, resolution carried. The next item on our agenda was the amendment of the bylaws. So this was submitted in your meeting packet. We can review this and discuss it now. A requirement to amend the bylaws is that we need to provide the board 20 days notice. So my hope is to review this, comment now if possible, or comment in the near future, and then approve any modification to the bylaws in our April meeting. I did highlight the areas that are being modified, and this was to just further organize our public meetings and to provide a designated time and opportunity for the public to speak. So we identified in our meetings under section 2, a privilege of the floor. And then as we redevelop our standard meeting agenda outline, we would add an item in there. This would be carried under unfinished business, where if there would be any guests, we would provide them a designated opportunity to speak within the guidelines that we've designated in that section 2 of the bylaws, if amended.
I think this is a great policy that the IDA can adapt to our bylaws. I think Janet brought it up, and I think it's an awesome idea. Janet, I thank you for the input.
The only other thing, coming out of this pandemic, the state, as we were talking to a little bit earlier, may require in-person attendance as they had in the past for board members to vote on resolutions. So that may term out, but my inclination would be that we would maintain certainly the YouTube as we're required by law, but we could also maintain the Zoom. It would not be as open. What I would require is for any meeting, as we post our agendas, that they would contact our office if they would like the Zoom link. So if a person, so that we can be even further transparent and open to the public, if they can't make a meeting, we would provide Zoom information, as just because the YouTube doesn't provide that two-way communication. So, my intent, if the board is in favor of it, and we can discuss this further at a later date, is we would maintain the capacity of the Zoom. So if a citizen or a representative of a program or project cannot meet in person, they can meet virtually. They would just have to contact our office to register. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. Is there any requirement for executive session? Can I have a motion to adjourn the Hamburg IDA March meeting at 7:59 a.m.?
So moved.
Thank you, Norma.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. I'm gonna get some things reconfigured here.